Remote viewing the ARC ships in the Baltic Sea, April 23, 2022. The ARC ship is not in the country of U on land, but it is close off the coast of the Baltic Sea. Space ARC ship is in the Baltic Sea, deep under the water. There are multidimensional frequency shields that are protecting the ARC ship. This is a circular ARC ship that is large with many levels, and it has energetic frequencies that are being generated inside and all around the ARC ship. There were 24 extraterrestrial civilizations with different genetic characteristics that had created the space ARC ships. These civilizations are called the seeder races, as they help to seed new life and beings on planets. This specific ARC ship can only be accessed from the fourth dimension currently and energetically. There is no physical entrance to the ARC ship, although recently it has been, with the energies changing, it has been awakening, and it's more, the frequency is more 3D now, because it can be spotted, like it can be physically spotted now, as a lot of these ARC ships are powering up, so it's more in 3D than 4D. And this started from 2012, actually, 2011, 2012, when the portal energies have opened up more. So it started since then, and these ARC ships have been detected as anomalies. So it's coming more towards the third dimension, where people can actually see these ARC ships when they go to explore them. But it was fourth dimensional originally, and nobody can have access before to it. The ARC ship has strong energy frequency fields being emitted from within the space ARC, and these energy frequency fields look like energetic spirals that are protecting the ARC ship. There are two smaller structures that are energetically hovering above the ARC ship. These circular structures are also emitting their own energy fields, which are protective shielding mechanisms, so no one can go near the location of the ARC ship in the Baltic Sea. So if anyone tries to scan the ship or tries to get very detailed readings, there are usually anomalies on the readings, which makes it very hard to scan what the actual structure of the ship is. So you need deep sonar radar to penetrate close to 90 to 100 feet under the Baltic Sea. And even those scans sometimes malfunction because the electromagnetic fields around the ARC ships sort of deflect the scanning mechanisms. So it's quite hard to get a good visual of what these ARC ships look like on radar. The remote viewing shows that there are 3 to 4 layers of energy fields that are around the ARC ship. This is the main one, the big one. This is the multi-dimensional shielding protection, making the ARC ship invisible to radar and satellite detection. So it's very hard to get it on radar, sonar, or satellite. And some have tried, and they've gotten images, but it's very hard to figure out what this structure, what the main structure is of the ship and the structures above it and around it. There are energetic bubble waveform frequencies in layers around the ancient space ARC ship. That's the main one. There's 2 of them. In this first remote viewing, I was able to see what the multidimensional capacity of the ARC ship is. What is the fourth dimensional layer of it? How does it look like? So this was my first attempt at remote viewing the Baltic Sea ARC ships, or the Baltic Sea anomaly, that's what it's called. And it started to be somewhat known in 2011, 2012, when the portal gates opened up and the energy frequencies started to shift more from fourth dimension to opening up things that are in the fourth dimension, in 3D dimension for us to see. like physically see the activation of these arc ships. It happened in 2011, 2012, 2015, 16, 2018, 2020, 21, and the energies are opening up even more towards 2023. So we're going to be hearing more about these objects. And so far, nobody has been able to enter this arc ship physically. I think divers have tried, but they haven't been able to get inside of it. They've been able to swim around it, but weird stuff happens in that area of the Baltic Sea. Weird frequency anomalies. Their radar doesn't start to work properly. There's electromagnetic frequency shortages. So equipment fails, there's a lot of storms there, so it's not easy to get to this object physically through diving. It's like 90, 100 feet, and it's not easy to find these objects under the water. You have to do deep radar scanning and sonar, and it's not always easy to find it because it's not supposed to be found that easily because it was protected by the fourth dimensional frequencies. Now it's activating, it's becoming more open to 3D energy. That's why it's being located and found eventually. And there's some info on it now. 2 arc ships with double domes under Baltic Sea, February 2nd, 2023 remote viewing. So I went back to remote view these arc ships and this anomaly in more detail because I really didn't know much about it from what I got in the first remote viewing, but it was just more like fourth dimensional things, the energetics of it. Today we're going to look at the physicality of these arc ships and something else in this region. Large first arc ship that is a 3-domed arc ship. Main mothercraft ship has the circular structure. So it has a circular structure component and is deep under the Baltic Sea, sitting atop the secondary levels of the second arc ship, buried in protection layer of organic materials. 2 levels of habitats and huge bridge deck and engineering sections on this first large arc ship. Electromagnetic fields around both arc ships. The frequencies of these fields are changing the natural temperatures underwater. It can become below sub-zero and freezing temps, making it harder to dive to the underwater site or distinguish what the ship structures are, since both arc ships are covered with layers of various natural deposits of silt, volcanic matter, concrete, sediments, and mud. The 3 domes of the first large arc ship act as a protective shield arrays, making it hard for radar to scan the true shapes and structures of the 2 arc ships, though the lines and separation delineations can be seen for some of the shape definitions for these ships. And these are ancient arc ships. Both the arc ships were sealed deep under the Baltic Sea, so access to excavate the arc ships will not be easy by diving crews. So diving crews have tried to look at these structures of the arc ships. This is what I got from the remote viewing, but they're not having an easy access to them. Even though they're more in 3D now, so you can physically see them, but the access is not easy to get to these arc ships. I think they might need special equipment to enter them eventually, but not right now. The second arc ship is a medium-sized craft. This arc ship has double domes around it as well as the main circular structure of the ship. This craft sits on a rocky platform that looks like it is part of an impact crater, so the crafts might have crashed underwater, or they could have been deposited there by other ships with tractor beam technologies and tracking beams. There are 9 shield arrays around the arc ship, around the smaller arc ship. Some of these are communications antenna arrays, which emit various frequencies for long-range space telecommunications purposes with various extraterrestrial species. The second arc ship is also covered by layers of mud, silt, concrete sediments, and the volcanic matter. There are several levels of living habitats located on the second arc ship. Beside the stacks of the two arc ships, there is a set of two irregular mountain topography grids, which seem somewhat man-made, but also natural as well. There is some type of rock platform bridge section going from the mountain topography leading to the stacks of the two arc ships. This is all deep underwater in the Baltic Sea. And this is sort of like the impressions that I was getting of the antenna arrays on the second smaller arc ship. That's kind of the impressions I got, and it definitely came from outer space. And this is what the remote viewing of the bigger arc ship, the first one, looks like, and the secondary arc ship with the antenna arrays buried under the silt, mud, volcanic matter, and concrete sediments. So the arc ships are stacked one on top of the other, and there's the weird mountain topography that's sort of man-made and natural. It's some kind of a construction, ancient site construction going on there. So, and that's kind of separate from the arc ships, but there's some kind of a bridge, rocky bridge platform connecting on what the second arc ship sits on. So I think both sites somehow are connected. I think these are ancient archaeological structures, construction sites of ancient beings. And again, this is sort of a close-up what I've intuitively saw through the remote viewing of what the secondary arc ship looks like with the antenna arrays for telecommunication or communication purposes for long-range space communications with other extraterrestrials. Yeah, so this is the remote viewing of the two arc ships in the Baltic Sea, deep underwater.